back to Wrist Check Pod. This is episode 21, a very special episode, and I'll tell you why. If you listen to us sonically, and if you watch us visually, you know something is different. I'm Rashawn, and I'll be your host today.
Woo! Woo! Yeah.
Running QB, and I'm sitting in the big chair. A lot of things going on with this episode. We have two very special guests with us, and we're also celebrating something very special as well. This is the close of season 3.
Número 3.
So this is a real thing. So welcome to the show. We have Rafa and Natsha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for hanging out with us. Of course, the infamous wrist check.
Yes.
Let's
go.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's start at the end of the couch.
Okay, I'm starting this. I'm kicking this off. Okay. So, shout out to my wife.
Shout out to Perry's wife.
Yeah.
She's going to like that because now it's me doing it. So, my wife, being the incredible woman that she is, solved a very big problem for us. And that problem was, how were we going to get a moon swatch? Because the three of us together couldn't seem to figure that out on our own. I won't give away everything, but she pointed us in the right direction and got us with the right people. And so on my wrist today is an Omega Moon Swatch Jupiter.
Looks
nice.
good.
Looks really good.
Looks awesome.
It's nice. It's nice. So thank you, my love. I appreciate you. The whole team apprecites you.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Very, very much.
Very, very much.
And this is the last shout out you're going to get this season. So there's that. But yeah, I have a Moon Swatch Jupiter on my wrist. What do you got?
I too have a moon swatch on my wrist.
Clap it up.
And it's the one that I wanted the most. It's Mars. I didn't think I was going to get it because apparently it's like the one everybody wanted from what I've heard. So when I got it, I was super ecstatic, and I basically threw out the box and put it right on my wrist. So I actually fell asleep with this on last night.
Wow.
So it's been on since yesterday.
Commitment.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
So
You got the chronograph going too.
And I got the chronograph going because it's a 1/10 of a second chrono.
It is.
So it's fun when you stop it. You get to see the hand just immediately move to where it
Spins.
should
It's nice.
be. So I left it on. I've been enjoying it. It'll probably be on the rest of the weekend. What you got on, Rashawn?
Oh, man. So I have on a piece that is very special to me. It is the moon swatch, of course, but is the Uranus Tiffany blue. There we go. I wanted to start it up. The Tiffany
Somewhere the Arnauts are rubbing their hands going,
looking like baby in the memes.
yeah, there you go.
So I should be rubbing their hands because they trolled putting Tiffany on Uranus.
Here we go. Giving me grief. But I'm wearing the Uranus moon swatch.
Respect.
The coolest thing about this piece is that it is the 7th planet from the sun. This is the 7th episode of the season, and that's when we close. And, you know, we have a few special guests, and if you count around the room, it's close to about 7. So, it was a stretch for me to acquire this piece. You guys got it a little bit easier. I had to flex my muscle a bit. Shout out to the gentleman that took care of me at another Swatch location. But very, very happy to acquire this. It also is the ruling planet to my horoscope, which is Aquarius.
To your zodiac sign.
To my zodiac.
You're Aquarius.
To my zodiac sign, I'm an Aquarius. So this is my planet.
Shout out to Perry's wife, man.
She doesn't hear it enough.
Yes. Shout out to Perry's wife. What are you guys wearing?
So I'm wearing not a moon swatch. I'm wearing my Rolex Daytona white dial, which is a very special watch for me. It's probably one of the favorites in the collection.
Ceramic bezel.
Yeah, ceramic
Nice.
bezel. Yeah, the most recent version.
and I'm wearing the FP Elegant, and it's very special. I love it, and I feel like it's a watch that I bought right before COVID started. So when we had freedom of going into stores and just like drink champagne and be like mingling without, wearing masks, was this. It's very elegant, but at the same time, it's very like sporty.
Yes.
So I can wear it like what I'm wearing today with jeans, or I can wear it, for a more special event. So
yes.
It's been a good one.
Elegant.
Exactly.
I tried that on. I might steal that from you. I'm not gonna lie.
All
It's
yours.
good.
Yeah. Ben has a knack to be able to wear like women's watches and make them look very masculine, or at least like
A watch is a watch is a watch, man.
you disarm it a
Respect.
bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a knack for doing that. It's super cool. But diving right into it, you guys have an amazing watch collection here. Very, very beautiful, and we'll get to that. But first, we want to know a little bit about you guys. Like, who is this lovely couple here?
So we're from Puerto Rico. We've been living in New York for about
Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Whoa.
about 12 years now. We're watch collectors. Know the guys for a couple of years now, I guess. And happy to be here.
Yes. So you've been here longer than me, but now I get to call New York home. So
Awesome.
good to be.
Hence the I love New York. last-
Yeah.
Look, there you
Yes.
go.
Like I'm very happy.
So
That was intentional.
Kismet.
Yes.
so candid. So this show is called Love and Watches.
Love
So of course, like we have tons of watches, but when it comes to watches, there's always love in it. There's a reason why you acquire these pieces. There's a reason why, when you look at them, it's like, I can't put this down. I can't stop staring at it. And knowing you guys for as long as I have, like you guys look at each other the same way. So there's true love here.
Yeah.
And you guys share a hobby. Where did you guys meet?
We met in Puerto Rico. I graduated law school. We're both lawyers, and I went to Puerto Rico back for a year. She was studying law there. And a friend of mine invited me to a party on a weeknight, and I was like, why not? And she was there with some friends, and we met there, and I immediately went up to talk to her, asked for her phone number, and we're going to keep it casual because I was only in Puerto Rico for a year, and we've been married 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was 12 years. We were keeping it casual. It's been
That's
12
how it
years.
happened.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's beautiful. So then what kind of like kicked off, the love for watches? Like who influenced who to kind of say, hey, you know what, we want to make this a thing?
You go ahead.
No,
I think it was you.
I think it was me. Like we were talking a little bit about it. I think he was set with one watch, like through like being like your younger years. I have been more adventure about having different watches. I brought today because I still have like the first watch that I got like for myself was that Techno Marine in the purple
Oh, wow.
bracelet, and that watch was the one that sparkled. I love mother of pearl dials.
Yeah, you have an obsession. for it.
I have a few, and that was the first one that I got. And I remember all my friends were getting the bigger version that have the chronographs, but there was color inside the dial, and I wanted a watch that I could wear with anything, that I could change the bracelet or put a strap. So that's why I got that. So I always had a lot of Swatch. I had a Swiss Army. I had that while I was in college. So when we met for a few years, I think we would just like sit with the watches that we had until we start, getting a little bit more into it. And
in our honeymoon, I actually got my second watch. We were in Hong Kong and decided to get a Tag Heuer, a Carrera.
Nice.
And I
tax free. So
Yeah.
it's like, why not get a watch?
It's like a double plus.
You have to.
Yes.
So I wore that for years. And then, we went down the rabbit hole of watch collecting very seriously probably
Nice.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
I always wanted a good watch, and my family was like, the day you work, you will get that watch for yourself.
Yes.
So I remember, one year we were here in New York. I'm like, okay, that's the moment. It's now for me to get my first like good watch. And we went to a store in Fifth Avenue, and I walked in. This is when, Rolex, like you could select from a very vast selection. And I got my first, like like silver dial Datejust like Rolex that I still have and I wear a lot.
Oh, wow.
And that watch means me like becoming an adult, and it's like, okay, like I can do this. And I think that's how it sparked. Like,
Yeah.
the
And
watch collections.
I remember walking around the store while she was buying her watch and like saw, Batman. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, whatever.
You just like
Long
casually,
time
hey,
ago,
like,
Yeah.
in a
what a
galaxy
time to be
far,
a watch
far away.
collector.
And I didn't buy anything at that point. So it kind of got a little bit more serious a couple of years after that.
What
like
size was the Datejust that you got?
That one is a 34. So that's one of my smallest. Like, that's something that's good for us because I like big watches. So like I don't have that one. It's one of the smallest. So many of our watches, we can share them,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
is great. So it's like he has his collection, I have my collection, and then we have like our collection that we don't need to be changing like the
Yeah.
straps and the bracelets. We have become an expert on that too. And their watch is like the Explorer that it's his, but he needs to change it for me. And I wore it the other day. And I was like, you might lose this watch because it's so comfortable. It's like so nice to wear with everything.
Yes.
But you change it back. So we need to talk about that.
Yeah. You guys
I need to
have
resize
something to
it.
talk about off camera. Going back to the Techno Marine, I think we have a special connection to that brand because it was heavily influenced in hip hop. And then especially like you guys coming from Puerto Rico, a lot of, the hip hop artists do have like Puerto Rican backgrounds. And I remember when a good friend of mine acquired a Techno Marine, he actually busted down.
Bust down
What?
Techno Marine.
Amazing.
A bust down Techno Marine. That was like a thing.
That's
It's
crazy.
a substantial investment for a Techno Marine.
I mean, but at the time it was like, man, put diamonds on everything.
What made you get to pick up the Techno Marine?
It back then it was like the watch that it was like the brand that everyone was getting.
They were very influential.
They were very influential, but it took me a while to find that one because I didn't want any color in the dial or the bezel. I wanted it to be like a simple watch. So I remember, and everyone's like, well, why don't you get like a bigger one? It's the one that everyone is getting. I'm like, but that's not the one I want. And actually, I still have the straps. You cannot wear them anymore because they're so old that they're falling apart. But I have
the
them
rubber.
all at home. So I need to find new straps for it and put like batteries and maybe wear it. But it was big back then. It's a shame that I don't think the brand, I don't think exists anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, so a shame. I love it. So
Yeah.
So, Rafa, kind of going into, you were speaking about your first acquisition. What here on the table is the eldest of yours?
Actually, the eldest not here, but the Hulk probably is one of the one we've had for the longest time. But it's technically hers, not mine. So,
Okay.
so I'm getting in trouble for
Technically.
claiming.
he had a lot of superheroes in his box, and I love green. So it's like superheroes or like, at some point you had a Coke and you had a Pepsi and you have a Batman. And I'm like, and I keep hearing, and for me, that was something about those watches that I love. It's like how the colors and the style have like names. When I start getting into watches, I was fascinated by that. And when he showed them all to me, I'm like, I love green.
Yes.
This green baby, I want it like in my
green baby.
collection.
I love that.
It's my green giant. I love that watch. But it's one of those that it's in our box and you get to wear it.
I have
a
to say
lot.
thanks to Rolex for the system that they have that it can just adjust the size.
Oh, yeah, the quick
and-
adjustment.
Right.
Yeah, so we don't need to change
good.
anything.
That's the one watch that we can just
And
like.
no
That's super
one
cool.
does green quite like Rolex does.
Yeah.
And we got it before it got discontinued, not knowing or thinking more about that. But
Sure.
it's really special that we were able to get it.
You got
right.
it before. What year is
That we got it
did you acquire that?
2020. It was that summer of COVID, like the first summer of COVID.
The first summer of COVID.
When things were kind of like the stores were opening back up, but it was
Yeah.
like by appointment only
Yeah.
and everything. We were able to get that. So it's very special. My first watch, my first like serious watch my parents bought for me when I graduated high school was Cartier tank Francaise. Yeah.
Nice.
That I still have. She actually uses it more than I do. I resize it for her. It's very small. Like, before I wore that watch since I turned 18 and graduated high school for like, I don't know, 7-8 years. And talk about people like 50 meters water resistance and the Speedies and water and whatever. I would shower that watch, beach, pool, anything, push down crown, nothing, no service, nothing. It still works perfectly fine.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, that was my first watch. And then the tag. And when I started getting serious, I started looking into Rolex, and I didn't even know what a GMT was.
Yeah.
And then we love to travel, and I started researching. I was like, oh, there's a watch. It tells 2 time zones. It's a mechanical watch. I want that. It's like superheroes. I'm like, oh, I love Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, I want a Batman. And then everybody told me, it's like, you can't get it. I'm like, oh. So we were traveling, and we went to I went to every Rolex store in every foreign country, and they would just laugh me out the door. And that's the only watch I bought from the secondary market. I just came back to the US. It was less crazy. It was 2019, and I really wanted it. It was my birthday, and she was like, all right, fine, go ahead. So I got that.
But it was the one you had to have.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, the gray market was a thing, but it wasn't as crazy as it is today.
No, it was probably like, I don't know, 10, 20%, market.
Yeah.
So it wasn't crazy.
No.
But obviously now it's just insane.
It's insane.
Yeah, that was also another question I was going to ask. Like, how do you kind of feel about the secondary market and like kind of what's going on? Because you guys do have an extensive collection, and I know how you collect and what you collect, and it's like, this is like strategic. It's very meticulous. There's no hype. Like, these are genuine. You wear them all. Like how do you feel about the people that do kind of push that agenda?
I don't know. It kind of sucks. I appreciate, watches not losing value. I love my watches, but if I had to sell something, because I need to, I want to be able to do that. But it's gotten ridiculous. It's kind of taking a little bit the fun out of it. You guys know this. Like, I'm looking at other brands at this point. I love Rolex. Big Rolex fanboy. Sorry, Ben. But it's gotten, it's just hard. You go to a store and it's like everyone's looking for the same watch, and it's impossible to get anything. I remember she got a two-tone Datejust in 2019, and they had every iteration. It was 36 millimeters, white dial, two-tone, and they had fluted bezel, flat bezel, oyster, Jubilee, everything she could pick. And now it's like, they don't have anything.
Now you're lucky if you're offered a Rolex watch.
Yeah.
Especially if it's one you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's tough.
I think it's also hard that sometimes, for example, like you will wear the Daytona and everyone knows what it is because of the value that it has in the secondary market. And people that don't even know about watches, it's like, oh, you have better. I'm like, ask me about the history about the watch. Ask me why I love the watch. Like, this is not a piece of investment that I have on my wrist. This is a watch that I love, that it means something to me. And sometimes that gets a little bit lost of like, what's the history behind it? Like, why
totally
I like
gets
it.
lost.
I think it always gets lost to her point. It's like people wear it and it's just like, oh, I have this thing on my wrist that costs X amount of money. When it's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it kind of loses its
sentiment.
It loses the sentiments. I mean, if you're around like mine, it doesn't, right? Because we could have conversations for hours about the Daytona and just chronographs in general. But the gray market kind of spoils. Yeah. It spoils a little bit. But what's interesting is that, like, right now, for the first time in, I think about a little over a year, we're starting to see prices fall a little bit on the gray market. Don't get excited, people.
Everybody's like,
the prices are still ridiculous, and you won't be able to get one at retail.
Yes,
but the gray market prices are starting to come down.
But people are like, oh, there's a bubble. I'm like, in a sense,
sure,
it'll go down, but I don't think
it's not going to pop.
Yeah,
it's not going to pop.
As long as the demand is there, it'll never really change. But to you guys' point, I love that you appreciate novelty, story. In the way that you collect. What we have here is a story. Which kind of leads me to Natsha's piece here, which is the Oris Upcycle. Which
shout out to VJ.
Shout out to VJ.
Shout out to VJ. Yes. You know, VJ, we love and miss you, and you need to come back on the show. No ifs, ands, or buts. But the coolest thing about, you know, the Upcycle is the story that it tells. The fact that the dial is made out of, you know, recycled plastic, and I reiterate this all the time, like literally a good friend of mine actually picked, you know, plastic from the rivers of Nashville, and they use that same plastic to create their dials, which is like ridiculous. Like,
that's awesome.
If that's not a story in its own, like I don't know what it is.
And that's what drew me to that. Like most of the pieces that I like are in my collection are things like that there's something behind it. And when I remember, he's normally most on top of what's new, what's coming. So talking about love and watches, most of our nights before going to bed, all I'm watching is YouTube videos with him about watches. And at this point, I love it. And he keeps me up to date with everything that's happening. And I remember when that collection came out, he's like, this is pretty cool. And I'm like, this is something, you know, it's first the fact, and that's what I like about Mother of Pearl too. The fact that they're not two dials that are exactly the same, it's very special to me. And that's something I love about that watch, because you can look them all together and the blend of the recycled materials are different. So they're not two that are the same. So that's why I love it. And it's really cool to wear because it has so many colors that it doesn't matter what I'm wearing. I can wear it and it looks good. And you have wore it too.
Yeah, it's a great watch. I love Oris. I love everything.
Is this one that you share, or did you get the bigger one for yourself? Rafa?
No, I didn't get the bigger one. This is more on her box. Yeah.
This is a great watch. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Oris. The Aquas is my favorite line that they do. And to me, this is, I love the fact that you have this in your collection because real watch collectors have a variety of watches and brands. So it's like the fact that you are here wearing like an FP Journe and a Daytona, and there's this in the collection.
Yes.
I think speaks to not only your love for watches, but your taste level, right? That you're able to sort of look at what's out there and pick and say, you know what, that's special.
Yes.
And this one is, you know, one of my favorite things about this, and I told VJ this when he was on the show, is the painterly like quality that this dial has. I mean, it truly is like a work of art. It looks like something that could have been part of like a larger canvas in, you know, a fine art blue chip gallery. Like this is a beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful watches that Oris makes.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, this thing is gorgeous.
So then, who kind of influences who when you guys are buying together?
It's dangerous. it's like
we're enablers to each other.
Yeah. It's like sometimes we're not getting more watches this year. Like we are done, and suddenly something comes out or something becomes available, and we have this rule that it's like most of them are like big purchases, so we need to be in the same page.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like just once, he bought a watch without me telling me, oh my God, that you kind of like won in an event. But you know, it's very important. We discuss it, right? Because again, there are watches that we buy and we know we're gonna use them both. Yeah. Others don't. And it's also important we talk about like why you want it. Like do you have something similar in your collection? Do we have something like that was our first Oris. So we probably will get more in the future. But that one, because of what it was like special. So we always, because we both love it, it's an ongoing conversation in our house. Like, so which one are your top 3 right now? And that changes like every week. Sure. As things come out. It's like,
and we're trying, you know, as our collection has grown, you know, we're trying both to be very careful, very like methodical about what we buy. Because at the beginning, you tend to be impulsive, right?
You're very excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm like, oh my God, I want that. So now it's kind of like, okay, how does it fit in our collection? Like, am I going to go for it in the box? Like, if I look at my box in the morning, am I going to go for that watch?
Yeah.
And if I'm not going to, and something I've learned, which is really cool, is like, I can appreciate watches and not need to buy them. Because before I was like, I like it, I need to buy it, right? Like, but now it's kind of like, okay, I like it a lot. It doesn't fit in my collection. Like, I'm not going to go for it. I have other things that overlap or they're the same color or whatever. For example, perfect example for me is a no date sub. This it's the first watch I ever remember. I feel like most of us kind of like that's when you think of an expensive watch, you think of a sub. We don't, we have the Hulk, but we don't have a no date sub. I've thought about it, but it doesn't really fit on my collection. But I appreciate it. I think it's an awesome watch. Like every time I see one, I put it on, I look at it. It's so beautiful and everything. But it just kind of doesn't fit in the collection.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
That's an interesting point. It's something I never actually considered. Now, I thought about it, but I've never actually articulated that for myself.
Yeah.
Where it's like the art of appreciating a watch that you decide you're not going to get. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I do that more often than I actually think of.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about this
With Raphael. I mean, with Ricardo.
We were talking about that with Ricardo, but it was also like in when we just shot with Brodinky with Lee, and I was talking about like Grand Seiko was an example, but there are these watch brands that like Autodromo even that do like so many amazing pieces, and you want all of them.
Yes.
But you kind of have to like, okay, wait, let me pause.
That's how you know that you don't have to own it.
But that's what he's talking about. And I think that's like, I've never articulated it that way, but like hearing you say that is kind of like it's kind of like an aha moment. Like, okay, now I have like a way to actually think about it
and rationalize
it where I'm like, okay, no, don't buy it.
So that's what we do for each other. It's like
you gotta
Philippe on it.
You gotta
get a different perspective.
I do know my next Grand Seiko now.
Which one?
Decided.
Which one?
We're gonna find out on the show.
We're gonna
find out on the show. Give me a couple of weeks.
All right.
Season 4.
I love Grand Seiko. I'm a huge Grand Seiko fan. So Grand Seiko is a perfect brand to talk about that because so many beautiful Grand Seikos. I would just have them all, right? Like,
yes.
Like, so I can, obviously. So it's kind of like, okay, this one I just like to see, appreciate. Yeah, if I had infinite amount of money, maybe I'll buy everything. But but it's like just appreciate it for what it is, and not necessarily just have to go for it every time.
So. That makes a lot of sense. And looking at your collection, because we've been focusing so much on Natsha's like beautiful collections. I mean, we could go on and on about what she's got, but let's give you some love. The coolest piece that I see here is this. You have the Rolex Datejust, which like I think is very, very special. It's really unique. And, it's a 36 millimeter. It's precious metal. So it's rose gold. Most people prefer like yellow gold, rose gold, diamonds with a mother of pearl face.
Yep.
Like if that's not niche, I don't know what is.
So that's a special one. That's our anniversary. So we have 2 anniversary watches here. So we got to talk about both of them together.
Yeah.
So,
You guys are giving
too
many
ideas.
ideas right now.
But this is like, it's amazing too, because looking at what you brought over, the design language or how you collect, just it tells the story. You have 2 rose gold pieces here. And you have the trinity of, the Rolex, the Patek, and the AP. You know what I mean? It's like the must-haves.
Yeah.
So this is awesome.
But so the rose gold two-tone, you could talk about how you fell in love with that watch.
We were in a watch event and we were looking at a new watch collection. And after we saw everything, I was just walking around the store. And in that sense, we're a bit different. Rafa, it's more about he researched the watches, the new collections, and he have a very set list of what he likes. I'm a little bit more impulsive. There are watches that I see and it's like, and that happened with that watch. I saw it and I was like, how come I have never seen this watch here before? And they were like, we just got it like yesterday. And I'm like, I need to try it. So I wanted originally something else for our 10-year anniversary. And I saw that watch and I ran to him and I'm like, can I switch my gift? Please, like this is the watch that
was like 6 months early for our anniversary.
So I'm like, I know our anniversary is not until like 6 months, but like I saw it and it like talked to me and I love it. It's special, both of them because it's, 10 years of marriage, it's a reason to celebrate.
Absolutely.
So my friends were like, "You're not getting a bigger ring." I'm like, "No, I don't want a bigger ring. I want a watch."
I want a watch.
Yeah, right?
So it's like, no, don't give me diamonds, give me watches. And
And it has actually.
Well, it has diamonds, so like.
well, I was gonna say it has. So it turns out it has 10 diamonds, and it was 10 years.
That's beautiful.
So it's perfect.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
So yeah, because the 12 o'clock is the Rolex Crown, and then the 3 o'clock is the Cyclops.
Yes.
10 diamonds.
So what made you pick the 5196J, Rafa?
It's just like a classical watch.
It's so good.
It's the standard of Patek. Everybody thinks of the Nautilus, and I love the Nautilus and the Aquanaut and all the sports watches. But Patek is originally known for the dress watches, and this is kind of like the most, like the essence of Patek. Very simple, three-hander, two-hander and the small seconds.
You can't go wrong with the Calatrava.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, this is just like class, perfection, like awesome. This thing is beautiful.
And you can wear it with a suit, or you can wear it with a white t-shirt and jeans.
That's the
it looks
beauty
awesome.
about it. Yeah, it's such a flex. I love that.
I know. Yeah. It's kind of like this. Just put on a leather strap watch, gold watch. It's so thin, super comfortable. It's one of my favorites. And the dial, the opaline dial. It's just when you see it in person.
I think one of the things too that Patek doesn't get enough credit for. I'm a little anal with the size of dials and like the use of space.
Yeah.
It drives me a little crazy.
Yeah.
But they really know how to use space on a dial when they lay it out, and that's why I love the Calatrava so much, because it's just it's what's the word I'm looking for?
Proportionate.
It is proportionate, but symmetry.
Yeah. Symmetrical. There you go.
It is perfectly symmetrical in every way, no matter which way you cut it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I liked the 5227. I think it is the other Calatrava has a
it has
date.
the officer's case back.
Yeah,
too.
it has an officer case back, which I love, but it has a date, which I'm fine with. I like dates on my watches, but the symmetry on this one is just
not
so
for this. You don't need a date on this.
No.
The Datejust, is that it looks like a domed bezel.
Yeah,
That's a smooth bezel.
It's a smooth bezel on the Jubilee bracelet.
Well, that's the coolest thing too.
But the
It's like
size of it makes it kind of look like the OP domed bezel.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like it has a little bit more of a shape to it than I typically see on a Datejust.
I think on the
Datejust
41 it's flatter.
41s,
Yeah.
Datejust 41s, the smooth bezel on those is like
It's just super flat.
yes,
Similar
This
to the
one's a little more.
Explorer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's funny you say about symmetry and space and watches. I love the Explorer 36. I think 39 millimeters is a perfect size for a case.
Yes.
But
The 36
the watch
Explorer.
itself, the 39,
Better.
it just has like a lot of wasted space. When you see it, 36 makes more sense, when you see it side by side.
Get it together, Rolex.
Yeah.
It was really
Just saying.
acquired taste to kind of see, the smooth bezel with the Jubilee. It's something that you don't really find often, but when you see it, you're like, this is actually tasteful.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really cool. Which kind of brings us over to the other side of the table, and we have a really interesting Snoopy collection.
Yes. This is all her.
I mean, we have some heavy hitters here. I don't know what we should start with. I think we should kind of.
You gotta start with the first Snoopy of the collection.
Oh, you going big?
Yeah.
No, the first one.
okay,
the first
okay.
one. Not the latest.
Oh, I was gonna say, okay, yes.
The first one, that's 1,
Yep.
2, and 3. So 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And then that's 4.
So then we'll start with the first one.
Yeah.
So we have a 2019 Snoopy Timex on a NATO
Quartz.
movement.
Yeah.
Was this originally on the NATO?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So this is the original strap.
Yep.
I like it.
Very comfortable.
So she loves Snoopy, and I started telling her about the Omega Snoopy watches and
Yes.
the 45 year anniversary,
Yeah.
the white and black one that's impossible to super expensive and everything.
Of course.
And she was like obsessed with the Snoopy watches, and I told her, Timex came out with some.
I remember that one. We were lucky to get it in the website because it sold out very quickly. And after that, every few months, like for example, the second one, then they release it because that is another type of like Snoopy astronaut, but you can barely see it. Like Snoopy has like the little like helmet, like he's an astronaut, but
Yes.
you can.
He looks like a shadow kind of.
Yeah, it's like so you can
love
barely like you need to look like very close to see him. But I love it because it's black and white, so I can wear it with
You wear
anything.
anything.
It's like
So what I realized about this one that's kind of cool too is that the numbers aren't on the dial. They're stamped on
Yes.
the crystal.
By the way, and
Yeah.
So
And
they're
it-
floating.
if you press the crown, it has the like indigo like blue.
Oh,
light.
it lights up.
love that.
Oh, that's when the dial lights up. That's super cool.
It's
Wow.
funny. It's funny. I remember as a kid, my favorite thing was digital watches with that blue light. It's
Yes.
Like, I was born in the 80s, so at the beginning it was actually like a yellow light. Like an actual little.
Yeah,
but then
yeah,
they came
yeah,
out
like
with
that
the Indiglo
orange yellow,
or whatever.
yeah.
The
Yeah,
Indiglo,
it was like,
yeah.
super cool. I love that. So,
Wow. Okay.
I mean, yeah. Again, this is like
And then for a Valentine's, they came up with the one with the heart. So it became this thing that it's, when you need to stop, I'm like, okay, I need to stop
You know, you
because
can't stop.
Timex every like 6 months, once a year, will do like a different Snoopy
There's like
watch.
a Halloween
And
one.
and I'm like, I will need just like a whole box to put them all.
Yeah.
So, but I really like that one because it's like Valentine's and it feels like.
Well, the coolest thing
romantic.
too about just like Snoopy and like the Peanuts, like they've always been very significant in any kind of like American tradition that we celebrate. Whether it's Christmas, you always watch like the Christmas cartoons.
Yeah, the
you always
Thanksgiving
watch the
yeah.
Halloween, the Thanksgiving, and all those kind of callbacks to just like what we love. Did you watch like Peanuts growing up?
I didn't watch it much. I'm trying and I cannot pinpoint at what point in history I became so in love with like Snoopy. Like my calendar, like I read pages right now at home, it's like Snoopy. I'm like, why is this Snoopy obsession? Like I just like it. I don't know. I feel like it's very traditional and classic, and it doesn't matter how much time like passed by. It's one of, like you said, it's
me see
one
that
of
one.
those, like cartoons that it's like always
Snoopy's
with
an
us.
icon.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It
It doesn't
literally
matter
is.
what
Yeah.
era you're from, where you were born, Snoopy.
There's
Yep.
a really popular Japanese clothing brand. I won't mention them on the podcast, but I'll tell you. I'll give it to you after.
Oh, no, I have
You know?
plenty. I have
Oh,
their
you got
socks. I
sweatshirts?
have their sweatshirts. I have pants.
Awesome.
You don't even. It's
All
like
right,
I
all right.
totally forgot about that.
Okay.
Every time they're coming with a new collection, he will send me an email. I'm like, you need to stop doing this because I just
So
can't.
There's a store in NYC that they usually get it first.
Ooh.
I'll give you their info.
Okay,
after,
please do
but,
so.
Like, you find like some of the best stuff there, and they always have like the Snoopy sweatshirts and stuff. It's
Yes,
cool.
so you will see me in the plane with my Snoopy watch and my Snoopy sweatshirt.
And then we come to this, which is obviously
The big boy.
This has kind of a special story too, though.
I would say,
Which, yes, you guys have to share.
Yeah.
But I mean, just looking at this piece, this is something that like is very, very special to all of us, because we know the significance in, a client or someone that is able to acquire this. Like, you have to be very, very special. These pieces are released once every 5 years. We recently visited the Omega Boutique, and they told us, they said, listen, we are booked from now to 2024.
Wow.
So like until the next release, and the representative also wasn't very sure if they would do it again, because they're like, the craze for this, the demand is so high, like we just can't meet it. It's ridiculous. And I think, when I do talk to guys about just hype watches or, brands that people believe is like their end all be all, I go and I say, well, you know what do you think about Omega? Try to go ahead and walk into a boutique and buy Omega Snoopy. They look at you like you got 6 heads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's great that like the entire line of Rolex is sold out. And that's what makes you want it even more. But there are other brands where you just simply can't buy it. You go in some boutiques, you can't buy a men's Reverso. You go in some boutiques, you can't buy Snoopy. You go in some boutiques, you can't buy specific Breitlings. as much as people give like these kind of brands grief, it's like, no. Do your homework and you'll figure out the significance and what these watches mean. So this is a big boy.
Yeah, so that's an interesting story. My AD, they really looked out for me throughout the years. And before that watch came out, so when we started getting into collecting, that I started learning about the Snoopy Omega watches. I told my then sales guy, who you guys know, I told him I want this Omega Snoopy watch. He's like, they haven't even announced it. I'm like, yeah, but they will. You know? It's a 50th anniversary. They're gonna do it. So so all right, fine. So this is like 2019. So like a year before they did it. So when they released it in October, I think it was October 2020, they said it was gonna be boutique only. So I was devastated because we don't have a relationship with an Omega boutique or anything. So it's kind of like, okay, well, whatever, we won't be able to get it. So my AD kind of really went to bat for us. They knew how special it was for Natsha and for me. And they worked on it and they surprised me one day. I went to say hello and, ran into some folks and they were like, oh yeah, you want to see this? And they just, showed me the watch. It's like, oh, it's yours,
Blew your snot.
And he loves to visit like watch stores. So most of the time I don't go with him. And this day he was by himself. And as soon as that happened, he called me and he's like, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to stop doing what you're doing and you need to get here. And I'm like, okay. And when I got there, like that watch is so special for us and our collection. So I'm very, very grateful that we have it. It's I love the back as much as I love the front.
Yes.
I could just like be like
Snoopy in a space shuttle.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
That's the best closed case back in the business.
It is
100%.
So Omega is my favorite watch brand.
I love Omega.
So obviously the Speedmaster is my favorite watch. This thing is incredible. And though I guess today it is considered a hype watch, it's still kind of a if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is, because this isn't the hype watch that everyone's after. There are plenty of people that will pass over this to get a Rolex.
Yeah,
who just don't know.
I agree 100%. And I think watch collectors will know what it is, but not like we were talking about before that you said like, oh, you run into somebody in the street, they're like, oh, you're wearing a Daytona. Like,
Exactly.
They don't know watches, they'll be like, oh, you're wearing, they won't
No one's
know
going to
that.
point out this.
No,
unless you're a
I'm
watch.
telling you, like, especially with regard to the collection that you have, in a couple of decades' time, this is the one to have.
Yeah.
It's going to serve you the most.
The watches of watches.
Yes.
Like, this is a very special watch.
And I wanted a Speedmaster. I didn't have one. We'll talk about this in a second.
Yes.
But I didn't have a Speedmaster. I really wanted one, but I wanted a special one. Like,
Listen.
That's
This is how it
one.
starts, though.
yeah.
Yes.
I guarantee you will have another Speedmaster.
I will have a
Talking
moon
about the
swatch.
chronoscope earlier.
Yeah.
Chronoscope is beautiful.
Yeah,
the
Chronoscope
bronze
is-
gold Chronoscope is actually my personal fave.
I tried it on today.
It's stunning. It looks great on any and everyone. It just complements like just, any skin complexion, for anybody that thinks that they can or cannot wear like precious metal. That's a watch that anyone can wear. Mm-hmm. And, kind of going back to just like your appreciation for Omega. In hand, I have this beautiful, this is what, 37 millimeter?
38.
38 millimeter reduced Speedmaster.
You have another Speedmaster.
Yes.
Well, it's hers. That's hers.
It's Natsha's. Yes.
He ended up bringing more of my watches and not his.
You never have just one.
Because it's Natsha's, of course it's a mother of pearl down.
Of course,
Of course.
So that's what the callback was, because she has an obsession. Sorry, I'm getting tongue tied.
And exceptional taste. That's what you mean.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ben. With just like mother of pearl dials, it's cool too because it has like these pink accents, what makes it very feminine. And like it's just a great piece. It has a little bit
Some diamonds. A little bit of diamonds.
It has some diamonds in it. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like iced out.
Yeah. But you can barely tell.
It's very hint.
So it's like the same with this one that we were talking before. It's like if you need to look at closely to see like the diamonds on the sides.
Like
Like
on
if
the sides of the case.
you will not see the diamonds in that watch.
And now, is the mother of pearl, is it pink or is it white?
It's at white.
It's
just
white.
like that's
It gets
the
a
beauty of the mother of pearl. Like it could like look different shades, and it depends like how the light like hits it. It's how it looks.
Pearl actually also patinas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what she said it before. It's like it's just every watch is different,
Yes.
which makes it really cool. It's almost like meteorite dials. Like everybody obsesses about meteorite dials.
Yeah,
Mother
yeah.
of pearl is very similar.
Yes.
It's gonna have very special watch.
I just, me personally, no one does it like Omega.
Yeah.
And that watch, it's very comfortable to wear. It has a white leather strap that I use a lot with it. And you mentioned the pink,
beautiful.
and it's funny because I am not very into pink.
Ah.
And that watch, we saw it in the website. I have never seen it in person, but I love Mother of Pearl. And I saw it and we ordered it without ever seeing it. And we're like, okay, let's just pray that when I see it in
You'll like
person,
it. That
it
you'll love it.
translates what I'm seeing. And actually I was not here in New York. You picked it up for me. And he's like, you're gonna love it. And I'm like, when I saw it, I wear that. I think right now the Oris and that one, it's the ones that I wear like all the time.
Really?
So I'm looking at this one, and then what dawned on me immediately
Is what we spoke about?
I don't remember what you're saying, but so we can get to that. But maybe it is. But the Venus Moon Swatch references this when I look at the subdials.
Yeah, it's the same shape.
It's the same shape, and the so where the diamonds are on the outskirts of the subdial.
Yeah, the Venus has it.
The Venus has sort of a illustration that mirrors or replicates
very
that.
similar to
So
that one.
I didn't realize that, but that's also like one of the great things about Omega. Maybe I guess also Swatch Group is with that collection they were referencing they were referencing other pieces.
Yeah, and I didn't realize this until I picked up the Mars Moon Swatch, but the Sun one is the only one that has a different dial too.
Yeah.
It's called Mission to Sun. It has a sunburst dial.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
told you it was a sleeper.
It is.
It was a sleeper.
Definitely a
Kinda.
sleeper.
It's good.
It's one of my favorites, actually.
The yellow?
It looks
Yellow
really
is my
nice.
favorite
Fire.
color.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's fire.
I mean, you're wearing the yellow.
I'm wearing yellow right
rugby,
now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go get one tomorrow.
We'll go to the other pair, okay?
This is beautiful. This warms my heart in terms of everything that I see in your collection because of the affinity I have for this brand. I mean, to me, they just do it the best. I'm always surprised and like pleasantly surprised when I see an Omega I've never seen before because I'm just like, it just kind of reinforces all that I think about them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
I think it's probably the best bang for the buck. In a
it
brand.
really is.
Oh, 100%.
It really is. I don't think anyone quite does it like they do.
Yeah, like I don't know how like a Seamaster 300M you compare it to a sub. Again, love Subarus, love Rolex, but it's half of the price and it's probably more technologically advanced.
Oh, 100%.
Here you go.
100%.
The only thing I don't like about Seamaster 300 is the wave dial. Me and Benny are kind of
You know what? I used to be a wave dial hater, and then I got the white dial.
Yeah,
the
you
black
have it on rubber, right?
on rubber, and I like it. It's grown on me.
I love that it's ceramic.
So
but the
my
pattern's
I grew up in the
weird.
'80s. Like my bond is it's Pierce Brosnan.
Sure.
So
yeah, me
obviously
too.
That's the Omega. That's the Omega.
Same. Yes, absolutely.
Seamaster, like with the wave.
It's funny because I remember I was talking to someone, a friend of mine who is a big Rolex collector. And we were talking about Bond and watches, and I went straight to Omega, and he's like, "No, Bond is no for Rolex." I was like, "No, your Bond is.
Yeah,
Your Bond
that's
is
the
Mine
Bond.
is the Omega Bond."
Yeah, because
Yes.
I remember GoldenEye. That was like the first
Yes.
James Bond movie that I actually like went to see in the movie theater. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then also too, like the callback to the films. If you ever notice, whenever James Bond is like showing his watch, and I think it was in it might have been in the film Spectre where he's riding on the train.
Casino Royale.
No, it was
It was Casino Royale.
Casino Royale was one of them, and the woman goes, she's trying to like size him up. She's like, oh, let me guess, Rolex. And he goes, Omega.
I love that.
Which, like, I mean, it's a flex.
Yeah.
It's a flex.
And he gave his own cocktail order. Told her
Yeah.
how to make it.
The
Yes.
Vesper.
That was a real
Just
flex.
so you know.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
This is how you do it, and shaken, not stirred.
Yeah.
That was great.
The coolest thing too about your collection, and we always go back to just like design because we are appreciators of design. You know, we have the last piece in your collection, which is the AP Royal Oak 37 millimeter, which is an acquired taste.
Yep.
Because everyone usually goes for the jumbo.
Yeah.
Before we get into this, I have to ask, because you got a lot of chronos. Is the chronograph one of your favorite complications?
No. It just happens. My favorite complication is GMT, hands down, or dual time.
Okay.
Most useful. I can time things with a diving vessel.
Sure.
So like it doesn't matter. I do like the aesthetical beauty of a chronograph, but it's not because of the complication. Just I like the
I think it goes back to what we were talking about with dials.
yeah.
And there's something about a
They're
subdial.
symmetrical.
Yeah.
Well, not only symmetrical, but there's something about a subdial.
Yeah.
That's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
I don't use the chrono on my Daytona ever. Like
I try to find ways to use it. So like if I'm like walking somewhere, see how fast I get. Like I make excuses for
but
it.
I use it on the Snoopy because you can just press it. But here you have to like unscrew the
Yeah, the Daytona it's a little difficult.
Pushers and all that kind of stuff.
It's
which I appreciate if you want to jump in the pool with your watch and everything. Yes,
I
said
get it, but you also can't use the chronograph underwater, so what's the point?
Yeah.
Right. But my point is like at least you can jump in the water with a Daytona, not really.
You can jump in the water with a Speedy.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
You definitely
Well, we
can.
talked about it before. I learned my
can.
career
Yes.
in
Yeah.
the water. You know.
So tell us about the Royal Oak and how you acquired it, or like the story behind it.
It's my only AP. Before COVID, I probably annoyed the guy at the AP boutique so much that he just decided to sell me one.
You just caved.
I had no purchases or anything. I only had my charm to go.
sometimes that's all you need. So
And I just went. I went easily like
Look at
6,
that
7.
smile.
Yeah,
can't say no to this guy.
Say no to this.
I tried and it worked.
Wow.
I went like 7 or 8 times, and I kept telling him I really wanted a Royal Oak. And actually, the day we were shopping for the FP Jordan, we were walking around Madison Avenue. I told her, let's go to a couple watch boutiques. And she fell in love with FP Jordan, so we just stayed there. And they opened a bottle of champagne, we're drinking, whatever. And I checked my personal email, which I never check on weekends. And I had an email from this guy. Raphael, if you're still interested, I have the Chrono, with the blue subdials. And I called him back, and they're like, he's with a client. So I thought he was going to sell it. So I told her, wait here, keep drinking champagne. I ran from FP Jordan on Madison and, 65, all the way to 56th Street and Park. And I'm like sweating, like out of breath. And the guy's like, yeah, I still have it. I'm like, all right. So I paid for it. And then I told him, hold it here because I'm going to go back to my wife who's at a different store.
Yeah.
Finish up over there and then come down. And then when we came down to AP, they had like a little champagne and they had like a hat. I love hats. So they had a hat for me and everything. I love it. It's my only AP, probably the only. I love AP as a brand. I think it's very repetitive. I think once you have a Royal,
you have
all you need.
Of course.
There's some that are better than others, or that I like better than others. That's true. But some people have like 3 Royal Oaks. I just find it a bit redundant. They might say the same about
I'm
me
with
having
you there.
2 GMTs, but
No,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I feel like for me at least,
yeah.
when I have one, the day I get one, I'm good.
You good.
Yeah, that's
good.
it.
You just rock that forever.
Yeah, and the 37 is perfect.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have the same wrist actually.
I like it. It looks good on you, man.
I mean, this thing is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's definitely like a flashy watch.
Yes.
It is like,
Is it?
well, like everybody, because talking
people
about
know what
hype
it
watches.
is.
Yeah.
So you put it on and everybody knows what
Well, it's because that bracelet, it just hits like a
it
diamond.
does. But there's something about, and admittedly, I'm new to this, right? For AP, I never fancied myself an AP guy. You guys know that.
Yes.
I didn't think of myself as an AP guy until I tried on the Royal Oak. I said, you know what? It's Good.
I don't fancy myself an AP guy, except that I feel like you need one.
I do need one.
Yeah, you just
You're
need
right.
one. But the funniest thing before we move on is like how you just casually was like, yeah, you know, so I was at Jean with my wife and she picked up on and I just ran over to AP and I told the guys AP, hold on, I got to go back to Jean. Like,
A whole different world.
if that's not a flex, listen, man, show the muscles, baby.
But it was so different. Like now, I can't even believe my friends that go to Jordan. It's like, you know, there's no watches. Like because you go to other boutiques, like there's no Rolex, but there's other brands. But no, you go to Jordan just to hang out and have a glass of wine.
I think that's part of it too, though, right? Like, you know, we just met, but like, you have an incredible reputation in terms of like me hanging out with these guys, and so I've heard so much about you, and when you're the kind of person that just likes to hang out in a watch shop,
that's
you're a
me.
special kind of person.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
And you're
very
the kind
special.
of person that special kind of people want to take care of. And that's part of it because, you know, your love and affection for this kind of just oozes out.
Yeah.
And then like to see the two of you together going over this is like, my heart is really warm right now. It's not just the whiskey. I promise you.
No, it's very fun doing it together.
It is,
like
yes.
I have friends that, you know, their spouses, you know, they like watches, but it's fine. I love that we can do this together and that we go to watch events together and look at watches together.
It's
yeah,
inspiring.
it's
I mean, like my wife is like, I mean, she gets a shout out every week here. But part of it is because she is, she's really getting into it. And so it's turning into something.
It's a slippery slope.
Careful, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all for the danger. If she is,
Yes.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's awesome. You know, it's just like another thing that we found that like brings us closer and connects us. And you know, anytime your spouse can share in a hobby that you appreciate, that's incredible. You know, it's just another excuse to be together. So this is beautiful.
And it's a great community. And, you know, we've met so many people together. We've become friends with so many people. Like she goes to like women watch collector events like all the time. And
Which is great because I feel like now, like finally, like ladies are, you know, like being like speaking about like we love watches.
Yeah.
Too. Like let's get together. Let's share like
Absolutely.
our Instagrams. Let's, you know, like I want to try your watch. Let me try yours. And because before it was just like with him, I went to a few watches events and I tend to be like the only girl, and I'm like this is not how it should be. Like there should be more of us, you know, here, because I know from a fact that there are many women that like watches and have their own, you know, collection. So he had, you know, like because again, I'm more spontaneous, like he's more into like the research, the look, but now I'm like in that same like place. It's like, and when a new collection, like I know like March just happened, everyone is launching the new watches, and he's like, he will keep me like, I'll be like working and he will email me or send me like Instagram like messages. He's like, oh my god, this one just came out, and then I like stopped doing whatever I'm like doing. I was like, let me just 2 seconds, let me look at the watches, and then we're like, okay, this one we like, this one we don't like, this one looks similar to last year. For example, like Rolex, last year I loved all the new like Rolex. This year,
You
I
like
didn't
that
feel as much as impressed.
Oh, this year. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You tell it.
Yeah,
because last year it was the meteorite Daytonas. Those were great, you know, and the color OPs and all that. And this year it's kind of like,
It was like a big hype, and
yeah, exactly. And that kind of like, you know, I think earlier when I was asking, like, you know, like, how do you guys feel about the hype? Because you guys are genuine watch collectors, and like you love watches, and they tell your story and you appreciate them. But it's like, outside of like Rolex, because I mean, we all aspire to have. What brands do you guys like? Like, what's like one of those? It's like, wow, like blows my socks off every time.
I have a couple. Like, love what IWC is doing.
I do too. I'm a big
Yes.
IWC fan.
Huge fan. I
Yes.
think I'm going to say this for everybody to hear. They need to redo their Ingenieur. everybody's imitating the Genta Royal Oak and the Genta Nautilus. They have a Genta design, the Ingenieur, and they need to redo it. And I'm sure they will. And when they do, I'm going to be like first in line waiting for that because that's an amazing watch. And I love what Oris is doing. Honestly, they're doing an amazing job with that movement.
So much fun.
It's so much fun. And an amazing price range. And VJ's awesome. I've met him at watch events, at Oris events, and at non-Oris events. He's always around.
He's like an unofficial mascot.
I know, yeah.
It's almost like they have the Oris bear and then they have VJ.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the band just needs to like morph into VJ.
What? Have you ever seen them both at the same place at the same time?
You know what? I haven't.
It's just like
There you go.
VJ. The plot thickens.
That's good.
That's hilarious. So then, so you love some really good brands. Is there anything specific from those brands that you're after?
What is
I know what I love right now, talking about the new collections. I am in love with the Omega Speedmaster in the like
Moonshine Gold?
Yes.
Let's go.
in the
the burgundy dial, the 57.
Yes. 57.
I can't
Reduced
wait.
case. Yes.
So we talked about that with Ricardo, that crimson dial.
Yes.
Fire.
Yes.
I that's
Fire.
one of those watches that he sent me the picture as soon as he saw it. And I was like, okay, I thought I mean, we have already 2 Speedmasters, and one of them is you don't wear the one that has mother of pearl, but I will get that one as my third one.
I told
And
you.
that one I would wear for sure.
Yeah, and that one you can wear.
It's never just one.
Yeah, so I feel like from what is new out there right now, I really like that one. I also like the new Oris collection with the salmon dial and
the Pro Pilot.
That's my
Yes,
favorite.
fire.
bunch.
Yes.
And titanium.
So
fire.
good.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful
Coin edge
watch.
bezel.
Yes.
It's beautiful. Was it like 4 different dial colors?
It's
Three.
three. It's the
Three.
blue, the
salmon,
gray.
and gray.
The
Blue,
gray.
salmon, and gray.
The
Yes,
salmon
yes,
is the
yes.
best one.
Yeah, Sam is the
The
best.
salmon
salmon is
is
the best
very unique.
The contrast, it doesn't make sense on paper. Like if you were to read, hey, we're gonna do this titanium
Salmon
watch
dial.
with a salmon dial. You're
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? Then you see it and it's like,
This makes sense. Yes. And the coolest thing too is that if you look at it, it literally looks like a fighter plane.
yeah.
Like just the bracelet.
Yep.
Even the clasp. So
The class
Yeah,
is like one
it's
of the
like
best
a
things
seatbelt.
about it.
Yeah,
That's like
it's
one
like
of the
seatbelt.
coolest attributes. Yeah.
I like the Tudor Black Bay Pro, and I heard that you're not in love with it anymore,
Actually,
Barry.
I've seen it. It's great.
I'm a little
Break is hard.
disappointed, Barry.
Hold on, pause.
okay.
I just throw it out there, you know.
I'm in love with it.
Okay.
But so again, what because you articulated this, right? Appreciating it,
Okay.
right? And then it's like, all right, well, what do I want? And what do I appreciate? And when I see that watch, I'm like, I want to explore it too. And in my head, I'm like, you can't have both.
No, I agree with that. I agree 100%.
So I
if you want to
appreciate
explore it
the
too,
pro.
you need to get the Explorer too.
Exactly. And so it took me a couple of days to reconcile that, but that's where I'm at.
So I don't want an Explorer 2. I actually want a GMT I can actually travel with,
Sure.
like overseas, and it's
Yep.
not like bling bling.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
that-
it's perfect for that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's
Yeah. I feel like though, if I do get to try it on a bracelet, I might change my mind.
It's
Maybe.
great. I seen it in person. I got to handle it.
On the
It is
bracelet?
a great piece. Not on bracelet.
Yeah.
No
Okay,
one
okay.
has it on bracelet. Yet.
Exactly.
No one
yeah.
has it on bracelet.
Well, maybe I'll get that call.
I'll think I think it looks awesome on the strap.
It does.
Rubber,
Yeah.
like,
On the strap is great.
It does.
Yeah.
I think it looks great on the NATO. She didn't like it when I sent it to her. She was like,
I
My
don't
wife
find
didn't like
it
it either.
any like again, like I need to see like a spark in the watch or something. And when we have a nice size collection, at this point it's like it needs to be watches that look different or have like
So
something.
you know what my wife said when I sent her a picture, and she said, "Not an Explorer too."
but and that's fine. And,
That's when you know she's invested.
She is.
You're in
and I
trouble.
was like, you know what?
You're in
You're
trouble.
right.
do you want a black
she just wants
dial
what's best
Explorer
for you.
too, or
Yes.
white dial?
I want polar dial
Polar dial
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like to me that's my favorite Rolex. That's the one that like I know I'll get. that'll be my pride and joy. I'll probably never take that off my wrist.
It's a beautiful watch, and in black
really
too.
is.
My friend just got it in black. He won an Emmy, daytime Emmy, and
wow.
And he got it the same day.
Nice.
So it's trying to get the
in
Emmy
black. It's
engraved in
great.
the back. Yeah.
The black is great.
Yeah.
Nick has it. We had him on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. That polar dial though.
It's
again
amazing.
going back because like my thing is like I'm into the tech, everything with watches, but design is where it gets me.
I agree.
I'm a sucker for good design, and in terms of like, there's just they got it right.
Yes.
From the orange text to the orange GMT hand. It's just like
So you want newer. You don't want vintage.
I want the new one.
I would have thought that you would have wanted the vintage.
The 42.
I like the vintage.
Yeah, you like the orange
I
hat.
like
I
the
prefer the
vintage.
orange hat too.
But I want the new. And it looks good on my wrist. I tried it on several times.
So
No.
it's funny because I love orange in watches, and I don't think I have anything with orange in a watch.
Look
yet.
at me.
There you go.
If you got it, would you engrave it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would engrave it.
Initials?
I would do my first initial last name.
It's a good move.
Yeah.
Like John Mayer with the Patek.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I might do Mr.
Lord.
Mr. Dash. Lord Dash.
Lord.
That's
gotta be sound to it.
You gotta do that. You gotta do
I
that.
love
Lord
that.
Dash.
Lord.
That's
I love
great.
You know you can buy land in Scotland for like $100,
Let's do it.
and they make you a lord. I've
There you
done it.
go.
I have a certificate
Google.
that says it.
Get
I'll
the
send it to
land
you.
and the watch.
Yeah.
Lord Dash.
Lord Dash.
So
If you don't make that happen, I'm gonna be disappointed.
it's
no,
gonna
it's gonna
happen.
happen.
It's gonna happen.
Listen, if he speaks, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
That's one thing about Perry. He backs up what he speaks,
It's
and
gonna
we on
happen.
camera, so he's definitely gonna back it up.
It'll happen. We'll figure it out.
But like speaking into the future, what do you guys see as far as, brands doing things in the future that you may be excited for, or things that you want to see that, like, if you could speak out to your favorite brand saying like, hey, this is what I want.
It's a good question.
Well, besides the entrepreneur, again, IWC, please go do that.
Yes, there you go.
I would love to see Omega do more GMTs again. So I've had this conversation with a lot of people. The GMT Master from Rolex is in a class of its own. There's no competition on being that. Like, there's a lot of thick GMTs. There's a lot of non-true GMTs. Actually, Longines came out with a Zulu.
The Zulu is fire.
That's a good direction.
Fire.
But Omega has GMT movements. They should be doing the Diver 300M with a GMT bezel. Things like that. They would be competing a lot. I think GMTs are. I love GMTs. So
I think I like big watches, and sometimes they're hard to wear because they're very heavy for my small wrist. So as a general comment, I would love to see like big watches with maybe, lighter movements, to call it something. So they could be more comfortable when you wear them. Like, I love the Hulk, but if I wear the Hulk for 8-10 hours, like, I get home and my wrist, like it bothers me.
So what you're really saying is, Rolex, we want a titanium watch.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That would be great.
Titanium.
Rolex.
never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
I never say never.
Tudor is gonna do everything.
They
that
just
Rolex
gave us a
will not.
left hand.
Well, true. I did not expect that.
He was traumatized.
No, it wasn't left-handed. They gave us a upside down.
They gave us an upside down. watch.
I was very traumatized. I love GMTs. I would have all of them.
Not that one.
Like, I don't know. I probably
No way.
not.
I mean,
yeah.
I was very underwhelmed.
And Rashawn's a lefty. He don't even want it.
Well, she wears her watches on the right hand,
yeah.
so like
I'm a
she.
lefty.
Yeah.
I'm a lefty. I wear my watch on my left hand still. But
Me too.
I'm a lefty.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I'm disappointed with Rolex, but I didn't expect anything crazy because they don't. Every year gets super excited about Rolex. I'm like, calm down.
So
It's not
here's
gonna
my-
be super
that's
exciting.
my-
Here's my
thing, too.
theory. Underwhelm us so that next year you can deliver some heat.
But when have they? Well, the OP, the color OP is
These are just the voices in my head.
It's like, okay,
No, I hear
we
you.
have a
I know.
Pepsi on Jubilee, and now you can do it on Oyster. Yeah,
Yeah, I
super
know.
exciting. And then we did Explorer 2, and then
I
just
know.
changed the
Nothing
movement.
changed
You
the
know, like,
movement.
I know.
the most exciting for me was going back to the Explorer 36, which I didn't expect them
Yeah.
to do.
I mean,
I think the most exciting thing they've done in probably the last decade
The
were those
OPs.
OPs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're impossible to find. So why will you do a
I
line
will
of
say-
watches that no one can get?
I will say
I
everyone
got
was
one.
pretty happy when the
What
Yeah,
color?
green.
He's got green.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't watch the show.
I did get one though. I was very fortunate. I got one for my birthday, and because of these two gentlemen sitting to my right, and that's why I love them so much.
You gotta engrave that one now.
I will.
You should.
I will.
Dash.
Lord Dash.
Dash.
Lord Dash.
I think another watch that you showed me the other day that I love was the Grand Seiko with the dial, the pink dial.
Oh,
the
the
special
Schönberg.
edition.
Was it Schönberg?
No, the new one.
The one
new
that I
one.
sent you photos of?
Oh, yes.
The most recent one.
Yeah, I showed her the
It's
video.
fire.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought it
one
was
of-
really
I would
good.
love to
One of
see that
1200,
in
right?
person,
1200.
to see like the details.
Rashawn was
of the dial.
skeptical about it. We were talking about it, and he was like,
I
I
have
don't know,
a prediction
man. That thing's
for
pink. And I was like,
2022.
nah.
What-
You're gonna see a lot more guys wearing pink watches.
Yeah, they won't have a choice.
Yeah. It was. To be honest, truthfully,
Because that's a great piece. I will wear it.
totally
And
wear
it's
it.
36 in the 44 GS case, which is an
44
amazing.
And
Yes.
it's way thinner.
It's way thinner. And when I seen it, I was like, man, actually, you know what? I retract my statement. I really, really,
I have
truly
reason
retract
to
my
believe
statement.
Pink
that
dial
doesn't mean
watch
more
is the
that happening.
perfect summer watch.
But by the way,
Yes.
they are doing amazing things. So the GMT Evolution 9 with the
Fire.
The white
with the
dial.
white
Yeah,
dial.
with the white dial.
And
Snowflake
like they
dial.
finally have a GMT with lume. That's like really like sporty, but with the texture. Because a lot of their sporty watches don't have texture
The
dials.
dials are flat.
They do
Yeah,
the texture
dials are
dials and like
Yeah, that's
just in the
true.
dressier
That's
watches.
true. Yeah.
So I'm like super excited about see what they do. Like maybe
Yeah.
like a black texture dial on a.
They did it on
They-
the dive watch.
Yeah, they did
Oh,
on
the dive watch,
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
dive
yeah.
watch has it.
That one, that's the limited edition one, right?
Yeah, I believe so, actually.
Yeah, that one is the limited
I
edition.
think I feel like, especially after the Watches and Wonders, seeing how everything's going, I feel like Grand Seiko is going to have a really great year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is just like the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more pieces that are going to be released that are
And they do
probably going
great.
to wow us.
They do great things for their collectors too.
They do great things for their collectors, and I feel like it feels like, I don't know for a fact, but it feels like more eyes are on them now.
Yeah.
I mean, that Kodo.
The Chrono, I feel like, was kind of like a
Yeah.
game changer for them.
Yeah.
Where it's like now everyone's like, okay, what else you got?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree. 100%.
Yeah, they do crazy things. I've seen at my AD, I've seen the platinum like bust down, diamonds on the dial.
Oh,
It's like
yeah, yeah.
300 Grand Seiko. That's like
The green
it's
and
worth
the blue.
it. The blue,
The blue's good.
and you put it on, and you're like this. This is a real deal.
Yeah, it is. I mean, beautiful timepiece.
Solid. Getting into the second half, we're going to play a little game.
Let's go.
This game is called Love Affair. So I want you guys to imagine that you're on a blind date, but you're on a blind date with a person, of course. 10 years of marriage. We can't break that up. We're going to say that you're on a blind date with your dream watch. Okay. So you guys have shared your dream watches with me. So I'm going to kind of act out as if I was your dream watch.
This is going to get interesting.
Yeah. I'm curious.
So I'm gonna, and the funny thing is that, so these guys, I mean, Perry knows a little bit, but Ben knows nothing about this game.
Oh my God.
So this is an audible. And I don't think you guys know anything about it either.
No.
So I'm gonna act as if I am your dream watch, and then I want you to tell me who I am.
Oh my God.
Okay.
You ready?
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. So let me start with the first one.
So is it for me, for her?
You just gotta figure it
You
out.
just gotta figure it out. You just gotta figure it out.
Okay.
So the first one is, I could be mistaken for steel, but I'm more precious than that.
That's good.
That's good. That's good.
That's good.
Poetry?
Yeah.
Listen, okay, so Before we continue, the funniest thing is on the show, right? So on the show, and whenever I introduce the show, like to a new listener, I go, hey, so I have like this great show, and like it's a 3-team cast. We have Perry who runs quarterback. We have myself who speaks like so poetically, and then you have like Ben who just like drops the facts. And it's like, of course I would be doing this segment.
Sure, 100%. It's very appropriate.
Yes. So like sprinkle.
You got to say that again though. I need to hear that again. That was good.
So I'll start again. I could be mistaken for steel, but I'm more precious than that. My face gives off just the right pearlescent hue. Because I time events, I wouldn't be late to our first date. Guess who I am?
I think that's mine.
Yeah.
It's at Daytona, a Rolex.
Rolex Daytona.
In mother of pearl, in the gray.
Yes. There you go.
They stopped
That's
doing
like
it, and I went to a ladies' watch event the other day, and I got to try it on, and I'm like, do I really have to give this watch back? Like, I just want to keep it for myself.
So funny.
They don't do it anymore.
No, I know.
It's impossible to find. So that's a great description.
Yes.
That is fantastic. You're going to write all my Hallmark cards.
Oh my gosh.
You should put that in a card.
Yeah.
Maybe I should.
You see, you can do like a spin from this. Do like, watch
check
inspired,
pod,
like
holiday cards.
like
Wrist,
Hallmark cards.
boom, there you go. Wrist check merch.
There
Holiday
we go.
cards.
Holiday
written
cards
by-
coming to you next Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Everything.
whatever you want.
So if you could acquire that watch, would that be like your grail, like end all be all? Like if that's the last watch you could buy, would it be that?
Yeah, probably, yeah. And I will stop probably wearing everything else.
Really?
Yep.
I don't believe that.
Mother of pearl white gold Daytona is pretty bad.
It's good.
Yeah. And it's just like it's like the dark, it's almost black, so you can wear it with everything.
I like that.
That would be my baby.
Nice. I'll move on to this. I'll move on to the second
All right,
Okay.
let's see.
dream watch. Okay. So let's see. I don't only keep time. I also know what day it is. I've been desired by many and have even met most in their dreams. Our first date, we can go for a swim. That's my specialty.
Oh my God. This is so good.
Let me finish.
This is more.
There is more.
Oh my goodness. This is so good.
I can go to depths of 120 meters. So I hope you can hold your breath long.
Oh my God.
Guess who I am?
Ooh, I think that's probably Aquanaut. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Respect.
Aquanaut.
You guys are good at this.
I was confused at the beginning because I thought you were going a different direction. But then
I was confused.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. So instead of being up at 3 a.m,
Buying watches, you were writing poetry.
You were
I was writing poetry.
Okay,
Yes.
Casanova.
So the funniest thing was I came to Perry and I was like, man, I really want to write Rafa's show. I was like, I want to do a show and I want to also like run quarterback. Perry was like, yeah, do it.
love it.
So I mean, this part is very special to me. I feel like I like put it all.
Do we have another one?
Yes, there's
all right,
one more.
All right.
One more.
There's
Let's
one
go.
more.
I can't wait to hear it.
Okay. This is good.
If he says it's good, it's good.
You can call me an open book. When you look at me, I tell you all you need to know. I've been around since 1925, so you can imagine I've been on many dates. I'm quite unique as the rest of me, as others are steel. I'm more precious than precious metal, but I can be precious in my own way. Guess who I am?
Oh, I know exactly. Royal Oak Open War Perpetual.
Yes. But what kind of case?
Ceramic.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like
That's my grail.
That is like his dream.
Yeah, my dream watch.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, that's really
Thank you.
good.
Thank
I
you.
love that.
Yeah, like a
I'm
silent
going to
clap.
give you all my anniversary cards.
Yeah, get ready for Valentine's.
Yeah.
Yo, you guys had me. I was like, it was like, read me more. So let's do our last game. This one is Who Am I? So I'm gonna throw some words at you, and then I want you to name the watch or the brand that comes to mind once I throw it at you.
But from our collection or just
From your collection,
Okay.
your personal collection.
Right.
So this one you got to be on your toes. So I'll start with the first one. I'll say Jesse.
That would be the Rolex Datejust with the rose gold for me.
Nice. What about you, Rafa?
a Calatrava?
Nice.
Respect.
Flashy.
You go first.
The AP Royal Oak, probably.
Okay.
Flashy.
Oh my God, flashy, probably the Hulk.
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's just like the color, like
Yeah,
pops
sure.
when I wear it.
Basic.
Basic, I have a Cartier that it's just silver and with a black leather strap. That it's very simple, but I find it like super classic, and it's like
Checks all the boxes.
checks all the boxes.
Nice.
What about you, Rafa?
For me, my Explorer.
Yeah.
Explorer 1?
36 millimeter.
Nice. Last one. Special.
This is good.
I will say the Oris. I was gonna say the Oris or the Snoopy. Like the Snoopy. I mean, I will say the Oris until I got the Snoopy. So now the Snoopy. The
Okay.
the Omega Speedmaster.
Okay.
And for me, it's the Daytona on my wrist.
Nice. We actually didn't get to the story of that because we know the story of the Jean, but we don't know the story of the Daytona.
So
Let's check that one out.
So yeah, this is obviously a very hard to get watch. I went to the store many times and charmed my way into it too. It was completely unexpected. I really wanted it, but I thought it was kind of like ungettable. And one day I went with some friends of mine, and they told my friends that I was getting it. I didn't know it, and they had a camera, so they took pictures of me as I got it.
Wait, I'm sorry.
I'm good.
See, a hater over here.
Pause.
That is a hater.
This guy just what?
he just literally just
Hater.
Hater. It's
But
okay.
I'm gonna say he's worn my watch
At least he's
for hours at a
consistent.
time. So
At least it's consistent.
Yeah.
He's consistent.
so no, I went to the store and they put it in a nondescript box for me, and I didn't know it was opening, and when I opened the box, it was that. And my friend had a camera and started taking pictures of me.
And I will never forget. So
Jaw drop
sometimes
tongue.
I am one of those people that I will be wearing my regular watch in my right hand, and then I will be wearing my Apple Watch because I mean I love my watches. I will not stop wearing them because I need to like track steps, like heart rate, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing my nails when he started calling me, but my phone, it's in my handbag. So I'm not paying attention. And suddenly the Apple Watch starts like vibrating. I'm like, I'm sorry, but something must have been like happening. I'm thinking it's an emergency because he's like
It
calling
was. You
and
need to,
calling
like-
and calling. And suddenly he sends me a picture. The only thing he took a picture of the dial and he sent it to me. And I told the lady, okay, you need to stop 1 second. I need to call him. And I'm like, why are you sending me a picture of a Daytona? And he's like, I just got it. And that was one of the few watches that we know if someone calls you, tell you have one for you, you don't need to find
You gotta
me
go get it.
to just get it. You can go and get it and it's not gonna be a problem.
That's
So
So
I finished my nails and I went to the store to meet him.
and I need to resize it for her because she wants to wear it, and I haven't resized it.
Yeah, I never wore that one.
really.
No.
Clearly not for everyone.
Clearly.
Not for Ben.
But I do love a Daytona. I mean, I love Rolex. We like to rip on them. It's fun. But it's because, when you're top dog, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
That's
gotta
what
be
you
able
get.
to take it, right?
You got to be
That's
able to,
fine.
and they can.
Yeah.
In all fairness, they're they take it.
Yeah.
And they get a lot of it, and they deserve it. But I mean, come on, it's good.
But
If it was in gold, I'd like
funny,
it more, but-
funny enough, everybody asks me like, "Oh, if you had to get rid of all your watches and keep one, which one would it be?" And the Daytona it's almost that one, but
What is that one?
the Pepsi.
Really?
I love GMTs.
Yeah.
I told you, I love GMTs.
you did,
I
you
think it's
did.
very versatile. You can
There is
Well,
something about Rolex is an interesting brand in that obviously everyone wants the crown, but they have a few iconic pieces.
Yeah.
They have several, right? And the Pepsi is one of those that like it's hard to hate on.
No, for sure.
It really is. It's like, it's not for everybody, but again, the way you articulated, even the watches that you don't buy, you appreciate it.
Yes.
And though like a Pepsi is not for me, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful watch.
It's a beautiful
It's classic. It's just like, you see it and you're like, I get it.
And the funny thing is, I say that about the Daytona. I also say it because wearing a Daytona is a statement that not necessarily a statement you want to make all the time.
Sure.
Because I like the Daytona. I think it's beautiful. I like the watch. But like when you put it on, everybody makes a judgment about, oh, you're wearing a Daytona. Oh my God. It's like a thing. Like sometimes
That's the Rolex in
Yeah.
general too, honestly.
Well, yeah, honestly, it's most Rolex. But
It
like,
is.
if I had to wear one watch, it probably like this would be like just too much.
That's kind of why I like the Explorer 2 so much.
Yeah.
Under the radar.
Well, it is under the radar, but I feel like for people who are kind of like for people who love Rolex, you get it. Like if you love Rolex. But for just people who want a Rolex, they're kind of like,
Yeah, it's overlooked.
like, really?
Yeah.
Explorer 2? First option? Yeah.
It's a beautiful watch.
It is a beautiful watch.
And the white dial with those black surrounds and the loom plots.
It's incredible. It's so
Right.
good.
And it's still a GMT.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
still a GMT
Yeah.
for all
Checks
the
all the
spelunkers out there.
boxes. Checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
So this was fun.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank
I
you.
mean,
Yeah.
don't want to wrap this up, but we gotta wrap it up. We'll have some more fun off camera. But it was a pleasure to have you guys.
Thank you.
Definitely my favorite time is when we do get together and have guests and we are able to celebrate you guys. So, on the show we love to give our guests their flowers and we need to start making that a thing.
Yeah.
I'll give you imaginary flowers. But we want to give you guys your flowers. We thank you so much for, spending the time with us, hanging out with us and sharing your beautiful collection. You guys can find us pretty much everywhere. Apple Pod, Google Pod, YouTube, Spotify, maybe in the metaverse. I gotta seep that in now that I'm hosting right now.
TikTok.
TikTok, of course.
And Instagram.
The handle stays the same. It is Wrist Check Pod. Please follow, share, subscribe, reach out to us. Let us know how you feel. We appreciate your feedback. We do listen to you guys. So send us some love and we'll send you some love back. I think that's
Incredible.
it. Deuces.
Let's go.
Thank you.